everyone, and welcome back to What We're Watching, episode 32. Oh, TJ had his hands in the air. He was waving them like he just don't care.
I didn't care, Joey. I didn't care at all. And we're back.
Yet I give you the keys to the podcast. Didn't say it once. Did not say it once. Because when I told Nan on the other episode of the podcast that you weren't on, I'm like, that's fine. You all, I hope you do 1 million shows together and make $1 million a show. Just know this. And you're like, yep. And then you didn't do it.
So, for the record, I was like, whenever I was recording, I was like, I'm not going to let Joey win this one. That's the most spiteful I can possibly be. Which is why we started this one off. And we're back.
I was about to say, who are you, my ex-wife?
I got the Jonas Brothers bucket, baby. This is the Magic Johnson episode. It's tragic.
Much like my first marriage. No, I'll take that all on me. But sometimes you just got to tell the truth. That's on me.
I shouldn't have laughed so aggressively as if I hadn't had 2 failed marriages. I laughed too hard. I think it was because I thought about my own. And she'll laugh if she watches this. She'll laugh as well because, I mean, that first one was a rough one.
I was about to say, which one? You're okay, TJ, until you're driving down the road and you pass somebody that says honk if you've been married to TJ.
All right.
That's when you know, oh, wait, this is getting out of hand.
It's getting way out of hand.
You ask her what she wanted for her birthday, and she said a divorce, and you said, I wasn't planning on spending that much.
I got $50.
Oh man, you can't even get a quickie divorce that way.
Nope.
They said it'll cost me $300, so I shelled out $6.
All right. This would be $300. I told them I had a coupon. They didn't accept it. It expired. It expired next year. They did not accept it.
They did not. Do you validate parking? Do we look like we validate your parking?
I could probably tell you if you parked outside, you got to pay for it. That's the only validation you get. If you parked outside, you're paying for it.
That's why from here on out, any life insurance policies I have, my ex-wife's divorce lawyer is the beneficiary because he sure does know how to spend the money.
Aren't you all glad you tuned in to What We're Watching now? Joey, what's happening, brother?
I use the divorce firm of Ditcher, Quick, and Hyde. But I'm doing well. How are you, my friend?
I'm starting to get a headache from all this laughing. Oh, Jesus. Love it.
But I'm in all seriousness, I'm doing good. Quick update on the channel. We are up to 10 subscribers. So we need 10 more before the end of the year. And also, I am going back through my files and uploading the old shows as I come across them. And so then when I finish, I will arrange them in playlists so that you all can watch what we do from The Sopranos from the beginning to the end. And then all of the other stuff that we do. So if you have not caught up and you're like, I'm just discovering this, be looking out on the channel because, like I said, as I get to it, I'm uploading it.
Welcome. That was my line, right?
Yes, absolutely, it was.
Subscribe.
Yes, hit the bell. You'll get notified every time something new will drop. Which means you should have gotten a notification today because I dropped the episode on there, an old episode. I uploaded it. So, but the reason that we're here today, we are going back to Community and covering episodes 6 through 11 So the first episode that we get to is Football, Feminism, and You. It's the 6th episode of the first season. It aired in the United States on NBC on October the 22nd, 2009. The episode centers on Troy and his career playing football at Greendale, while the B storyline concerns Britta and her difficulty befriending other women. Pierce works with Dean Pelton to create the school's mascot. The episode was watched by 5.18 million viewers upon its premiere and received polarized reviews. So they are the Greendale human beings, TJ.
Human beings.
They're the human beings.
They used to be called the Grizzlies?
I think so.
But I changed it because many of these students have been called animals their whole life. Dean Pelton is my underrated, funny, so far we're getting into this, and obviously there's so much more we know that Dean Pelton's going to contribute. But so far he's my unsung hero.
The way that you said that, you channeled him in your spirit.
Thank you.
So Dean Pelton is trying to boost interest in Greendale's football team, which has recently been renamed the Greendale Human Beings. Aware that Troy was a star football player in high school, but suffered an injury preventing him from going further, he attempts to convince Troy to join the team. But Annie objects, believing Troy has a better future. Pierce offers to help Dean Pelton to redesign the school's mascot to reflect the name change. Through many attempts, Pierce and the dean realize that the only acceptable mascot is one free of race, gender, or other identification, and end up creating a vaguely human-shaped mascot wrapped entirely in white gauze to disguise any discernible human characteristics.
But the Joker smile is painted on his face. Like, he looks like Slender Man or Thin Man. Whatever horror movie you've had where there was somebody way too tall and way too skinny standing in the corner, that's what the human being looks like. And he is, look, trying to find a mascot without racism is quite racist, which is why they were going from Seal's teeth to Seal. That was horrible.
Oh, goodness. I had forgotten about that, but you're exactly right.
Right. You want to loot gossip? No, I want an Obama. What? What? Awesome.
Jeff later discovers posters and flyers for Greendale with his photogenic face front and center. Worried that these flyers would damage his professional reputation, he confronts Dean Pelton. Then Dean blackmails Jeff, promising not to send out the flyers if he can convince Troy to join the football team. Jeff succeeds in doing so behind Annie's back. Annie later observes Troy slipping back into his pre-college jock ways, such as being late for class and being lax on homework. She discovers he had rejoined the football team and realizes that Jeff convinced him to do so. Jeff counters that Annie is trying to direct Troy on the path that she wants him to be on. Annie takes the comment too hard, but later is cheered up in the bathroom by Britta. At a prep rally before his first game, Troy tells Jeff that the accident that ended his first football career and cost him his scholarship was not an accident. Troy could not take the pressure of being the star player and injured himself on purpose. Since there is no pressure to succeed at Greendale, Troy now genuinely enjoys playing football. Jeff and Annie later make up for interfering in each other's lives.
So you mentioned that Annie recognized that Troy was playing football again because of his lax demeanor and not lack of importance to homework and late for class. The most important was his political rhymes. Bing, bong, sing along. Your words, Al Gore, because your views are wrong. Like that's what this man did. Love Troy Barnes. Troy!
Meanwhile, Shirley is upset when Britta doesn't join her in a bathroom break and later insulted when Britta does join her, but ridicules Shirley's desire to take her mother to get a makeover on feminist grounds. Shirley insists that the time women share the bathroom together is to support each other and that from now on, Britta can pee alone. Britta realizes that she has never had support in such bathroom meetings and is there to support Annie in a bathroom meeting after Jeff's accusation. Shirley walks in and praises Britta for her success. This was really driven more by the Troy storyline than it was by the Britta storyline. There was a reason it was the B storyline.
For Britta.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1,000%, and which is why football comes before the feminism. But yeah, like Troy was 1,000%, what you said, 1,000% the runner on this story. And Britta, they only talk about her story probably like 2 or 3 times, but it comes in a pinch at the end when Annie comes in there crying. But then Shirley sees Annie, pushes her out the way, get out the way, so that she can hug Britta. That right there, again, funnies.
All right, we're moving right along to Introduction to Statistics. It's the 7th episode of the first season, airing on NBC on October the 29th, 2009. Annie hosts a Dia de los Muertos party, the success of which depends on Jeff attending. At the party, Pierce gets high, causing trouble for the other characters. Jeff pursues their statistics professor, Professor Michelle Slater. Finally, Shirley is distressed due to her ex-husband's behavior. Annie announces to the Spanish class that she will be hosting a Dia de los Muertos themed Halloween party for extra credit.
Day of the Dead.
It sounded like you were in that Spanish class. Were you in the corner? I didn't see you,
Yes,
not everybody had those widescreen HD TVs.
Not everybody had those, but I definitely was in the corner for the whole Jeff and Pierce performance and everything.
Hoping that Jeff will attend as his popularity would influence others to attend as well. Shirley announces to the study group that she has returned her wedding ring to her ex-husband, who had cheated on her months prior.
Mm-hmm.
After confirming with Britta that she does not see him as a sexual prospect, Jeff asks his statistics instructor, Professor Michelle Slater, out, but is rejected when she tells him that she does not date students. Shirley believes that Britta is upset with Jeff pursuing Slater after being interested in Britta. Annie invites Jeff to the party, but he initially declines, claiming it conflicts with his enjoyment of life. After Annie breaks down in tears, recalling how unpopular she was in high school, Jeff reluctantly agrees.
After saying that he had bottled up her tears and had developed a resiliency to it, and still he bows down for which she said a bag of ice and some cups.
At the party, the study group is dressed in their Halloween costumes. Annie comes as a skeleton, Britta as a modest squirrel, Troy as Eddie Murphy, Abed as Batman, Shirley as Harry Potter, mistaken by others as Steve Urkel. And Pierce as the Beastmaster. Jeff does not wear a costume. Senor Chang, dressed as the Matador, lets Jeff know that Slater is attending the faculty party in the cafeteria.
You have to wear a costume.
Starburns runs into Pierce in the bathroom while Pierce is taking his medication. Starburns suggests Pierce trade some of his pills for the ones that Starburns has. My name is Alex.
My name is Alex.
That's every time I see him.
That's the thing. My heart stopped beating and I can't pee. My name is Alex.
And later on, fabulous. Pierce, in an attempt to feel younger, agrees. Jeff asks Chang to make him his +1 to the faculty party so that he can see Professor Slater. Chang agrees in exchange for $20. Jeff quietly grabs his coat and leaves Annie's party before anyone notices. Annie gathers everyone from the party in a circle to start dancing. She invites Jeff up to have the first dance of the night. Once everyone realizes Jeff has left the party, people begin to express their desire to leave.
Get home to watch the news. Oh, Jeff's gone? I got to get home for the news.
Britta tries to cover for him, enlisting Shirley to help get him back. Pierce, meanwhile, is high on Starburns' pills and begins hitting on Annie, who rebuffs his advances. Jeff makes it into the faculty Halloween party wearing a cowboy costume. He finds Professor Slater dressed in a revealing Robin Hood outfit and immediately makes advances on her. Britta interrupts their conversation in an attempt to convince Jeff to go back to Annie's party. Meanwhile, Abed and Troy need help dealing with Pierce, and Shirley defaces Professor Slater's car, claiming to be defending Britta. Britta then catches Shirley in Slater's office with a water hose, at which point Shirley breaks down and confesses that her ex-husband had asked for his wedding ring to give to his new girlfriend. She realizes that her anger was directed towards her ex-husband and not Slater, and apologizes to Britta for her actions, although Britta secretly breaks one of Slater's awards anyway. Pierce begins to lose control because of Starburns' drugs, driving everyone out of the party. At the faculty party, Chang gives Jeff some advice to boost his ego so he can continue wooing Professor Slater. After talking to Chang, Jeff approaches Professor Slater and tries an honest, direct, self-deprecating approach. Professor Slater agrees to sleep with him. As Jeff and Professor Slater leave the faculty party together, they walk by the library where Pierce has barricaded himself in with the office furniture. Jeff tries to ignore Pierce's cries for help, but agrees to walk away from Slater to help his friends. Jeff enters the fortress where he successfully calms Pierce down. The fortress begins to collapse on top of Jeff and Pierce, but Abed, dressed as Batman, comes to rescue them. The episode ends with Jeff dancing with Annie as Abed narrates as Batman over the proceedings.
They invited Batman to the party, but I never sleep. I never party. I'm just Batman.
The end tag consists of Troy and Abed in their costume. Troy asks Abed if he woke up as a donut one day, would he eat himself? They both agree that they would. In its original broadcast, this episode was viewed by 5.32 million, so up from the last episode.
Right.
All right, moving right along to Home Economics. It's the 8th episode of the first season, aired in the United States on NBC on November the 5th, 2009. The episode revolves around Jeff's living situation now that he no longer has the money that he earned as a big shot lawyer and the emotional aftermath of Britta and Vaughn's breakup. It garnered 5.45 million viewers on its premiere and received positive critical reception. Ben Chang, the study group Spanish instructor, notices Jeff sleeping in class and startles him awake. As the students file out, Troy asks Annie for advice on a good date activity for a girl he likes, not realizing that Annie has a crush on him. Annie, thinking the girl is her, instructs him on a very romantic evening for him and his new friend. Shirley notices Annie's disappointment after she realizes Troy likes someone else, not her. Meanwhile, Britta notices that Jeff looks less well-groomed than usual and begins to interrogate him about it, but he walks off when Vaughn walks up. He is cold to Britta after their recent breakup, telling her that she's toxic.
Toxic.
Pierce offers to talk to Vaughn.
Don't do it.
And decides to persist despite Britta's explicit insistences against it.
That's girl for talk to Vaughn.
Britta and Shirley notice Jeff bathing and brushing his teeth outside. Shirley realizes Jeff is living in his car. The group discusses Jeff's situation. Pierce tells Britta that he tried talking to Vaughn, but the only result is that Pierce is now the keyboardist in Vaughn's band. When Jeff walks in, Britta and Shirley confront Jeff about his living situation. Jeff claims that he has a minor issue with condo fees. And not fleas, fees. And Abed invites him to stay in his dorm room for the time being. Jeff declines.
The next person who offers me help will be mentioned by name in my suicide note.
Jeff shows Britta pictures of his old condo, particularly focusing on his handcrafted Italian faucets. After his car is towed, he ends up asking to crash in Abed's dorm. He found Abed's cheerful acceptance of his low station in life infuriating, although Abed and Jeff later bond over serial television and sad childhoods.
Extremely sad. But I identify with Jeff's. TV raises you, man.
It does. Absolutely, it does. Shirley witnesses Annie lending Troy a blanket, a family heirloom, for his picnic date. She insists that Annie tell him how she feels before Randy and Troy get closer. Meanwhile, Pierce and Vaughn's band are playing in the cafeteria.
1 second. Before we get to, because this part deserves attention, and we're going to give it to it.
It does.
But before we get to it, Annie tells Troy, my grandmother courted my grandfather with this blanket. For which Troy says, ooh, that's hot. I just want to make sure that we got that one in there before we get to the world debut of Some Worries.
All right. Vaughn starts singing lyrics about his breakup, naming Britta by name and calling her a bitch and a liar. Now, folks, I think I mentioned it before, but live your life so that you are as intense and happy as Pierce is in this scene. Just take it, Pierce. And in the background, his background voice, and Britta
getting rid of Britta, getting rid of the B. She's a GDB. She's a no good B.
Oh, take it, Pierce.
I'm saying, getting it. But you're talking about a diss track.
Yeah.
That was a diss track that would put Kendrick Lamar and Drake to shame.
And the band is just like, yep, it's another day. He's like, because when someone's a bitch and a liar,
there ain't nothing left to woo. I'm getting rid of Britta. I'm getting rid of the B. She's a GDB. I love it.
After the show, Britta confronts Pierce and Vaughn, who are practicing, but Vaughn ignores her. He then gets into an argument with Pierce over the song's authorship, throwing a tantrum and kicking Pierce out of the band, which Britta mistakes as Pierce having defended her. Annie continues instructing Troy on how to woo his date, preparing drinks and candles. I thought they said candies.
Wrapped candies.
If you were in a relationship, TJ, and they're like, I make homemade candy, at that point when they say that, the next time you see each other, you expect candy, right?
I'm in a little bit of a situation. Don't tell me that you make delicious banana pudding and then don't bring none. Okay, she told me she made the best banana pudding in the South, but yet no nana pudding has entered my mouth. What are we talking about, people?
I just laughed so hard I hit my stand goal for the day.
Awesome.
I was in 2 different relationships, and both of them, I think I've told you this before, they're like, twins run in my family, so if we ever think of having kids together, and I'm like, with both of them, I'm like, I've not seen one twin yet. Where are they? Did they run away? Did they run away?
At least one of them did.
So I feel like it's a similar thing. Not exactly, but it's a similar thing. If you tell me twins run in your family, you got to show me at least a set of twins.
At least one set.
Now,
one.
And if one of them brought the banana pudding, that's a family reunion right there.
That right there, that's a party.
Finally, as Troy is on his way to the date, she reaches her breaking point and shouts that she has to tell him something, and then claims her appendix is bursting.
Oh!
He accompanies her to the health center, where it's confirmed that she doesn't have appendicitis. Troy cheerfully leaves, while the nurse, Patton Oswalt, suspects Annie may have some rare disease and insists that she be quarantined.
Don't want the typhoid Mary of herpes.
Britta finds Abed and Jeff and observes that they miss Spanish class. She becomes concerned that perhaps leaving the material world behind wasn't good for Jeff, and that rather than growing as a person, he's become even more adolescent. Abed begs her to take him back, observing that their newfound friendship is good for Abed, but bad for Jeff. Britta strides into Abed's dorm room and confronts Jeff, telling that for him, material possessions are vital. Jeff is not interested, but she throws at him a paper bag containing the handcrafted Italian faucet she found by breaking into his condo. She tells him to get an apartment and install the faucet there to remind him that he is capable of materialism again. Pierce walks up to Vaughn and reiterates that he is no longer in the band. He asks him to lay off Britta, and Vaughn agrees, getting on the stage to sing his newest song, which he insults Pierce instead.
Yes.
Pierce is at first taken aback, but then laughs and nudges the students in the audience, bragging that he's the one in the song. I'm Pierce.
I'm Pierce. It's me. I'm Pierce. So I don't know that I necessarily made this connection before, but one of the other more famous poppy singers who's famous for doing diss tracks is Taylor Swift. And that's essentially what Vaughn was doing. He was doing his best Swiftie impression.
And how does Pierce's song go?
It's reggae. See, and now I'm drawing a blank because I was getting ready to be, and that's all I needed.
Hold on, let me look. I'm not going to play it because that would get us a strike, but I can at least look up the.
I even know the thing that's crazy. I even know the some of the Vaughn diss.
Is Pierce You Are a B?
Oh yeah. I'm trying to remember the tempo because it's different than the original.
It is. But Pierce is there for it. He's like, I'm Pierce. Annie runs up to Troy and his date on the lawn, still wearing a hospital gown, and takes a small step to assert herself, asking for the blanket back. Troy, bewildered, relinquishes it, and Annie defiantly tells Shirley, who had witnessed the event, that it was a big step for her. Shirley sympathizes. Britta finds Jeff and notes that he is properly groomed again. Abed wanders up, and Jeff tells them both that he is staying in a motel and looking for apartments. Abed confirms to Jeff that he would have cheerfully let Jeff stay in his dorm room indefinitely had he wanted to. In the end tag, Vaughn finds Pierce and a rapper who previously accompanied his song against Pierce, practicing with lyrics insulting Vaughn. He swears revenge.
With the one tear. If you're not careful, you will miss it. But Vaughn is shedding a tear. Game on, Pierce. Game on.
And how about that rapper?
Oh, bro. He goes where the check is at.
That's right.
He goes where the check is at. That's what rappers do. $25,000 by your feature.
Upon its first broadcast in the United States, an estimated 5.45 million viewers watched the episode.
Nice. Still climbing. 200 up.
Yeah. Debate 109 is the 9th episode of the first season. It aired in the United States on NBC on November the 12th, 2009. In the episode, Jeff teams up with Annie to take on City College in a debate, while Pierce tries to help Britta quit smoking using hypnotherapy. Meanwhile, the study group attempts to figure out if Abed's student films are predicting their futures. The episode received mostly positive reviews, with many critics singling out Abed's subplot for praise. Britta is on edge as she tries to quit smoking, and Pierce offers to help her quit using hypnotherapy. Troy shows the study group a film made by Abed that closely resembles a conversation the group had the previous week. However, the film was made 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks prior.
In the hallway, Annie, Dean Pelton, and Professor Whitman asked Jeff to fill in as Annie's partner in the debate against City College. Greendale will argue that man is evil, while City College will argue man is good. Jeff reluctantly agrees to, but blows off preparing, citing his experience as a lawyer. In their first session, Pierce attempts to hypnotize Britta, but is clearly inept. Britta pretends not to notice. During the debate, City College, led by Jeremy Simmons, jumps to an early lead, but an interruption by the basketball team forces the rest of the debate to be delayed. Simmons taunts Jeff and Annie afterwards, and after a particularly hurtful taunt towards Annie, Jeff vows to defeat him. Shirley confronts Abed about his films. Abed explains he understands the study group so well that he can predict how they will respond to situations. To reassure Shirley, he shows her his next film, which includes a scene of Jeff and Annie's actors kissing. As Jeff and Annie study for the debate, she urges him to prepare better. He responds by telling her to loosen up. Shirley tells Jeff and Annie about their characters kissing in Abed's film, which leads to an awkward tension between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Pierce and Britta have another hypnosis session. He realizes that she has been awake and goes her into revealing her deception by telling her to picture a threesome with him. He always goes just a little too far.
Just a little bit too far. And a friend with slightly larger breasts.
The debate resumes, and Jeff and Annie keep pace with Simmons. In a last-second gambit, Simmons launches himself out of his wheelchair at Jeff. I mean, homeboy leans into it.
Full commitment. Full commitment. He just knew this man was going to catch him.
Jeff catches him, supporting Simmons' point that man is good. Annie then goes off script by grabbing Jeff and kissing him. Surprised, he drops Simmons. Annie proclaims that Jeff's response proves that man is evil, and Greendale wins. Britta, who had pulled out a cigarette to cope with the stress of watching the debate, feels suddenly repulsed and tells Pierce she can't smoke without imagining a threesome with him in a hot tub. Abed tries to reassure Shirley, but she feels even more convinced about Abed's powers. Jeff and Annie congratulate each other on their victory, but there is still awkwardness between them.
Just pat me on the head.
The episode was written by Tim Hobart and directed by Joe Russo. It is Hobart's third writing credit and Russo's fifth directing credit for the show. While the show only shows brief glimpses of Abed's movies, the full versions were still produced. Entitled Community College Chronicles, they were released by NBC as promotion around the time of the episode's premiere and included an appearance by Sandeep Parikh of The Guild.
Oh, yeah. I did like the show The Guild, by the way. And if I can add, if I'm going to use this episode as a shining example of the writing that goes into this show. You get a very small joke early on that pays off later. So they're looking in the trophy case and they're asking about athletics at Greendale. Our basketball team is just really, really gay. That's what you hear. And then nothing else about it until they're in the debate. They just found out that they're getting creamed by City College because Jeff decided to sing "Evil Woman." No. And then you hear the whistle and the basketball goes. So it pays off, man. I mean, great writing.
I love the dean. Oh, wait. They did have this schedule.
They did. Oh, they got us this one.
While watching one of Abed's films, Troy asks if his character is crying after listening to Come Sail Away Again. Professor Whitman urges Jeff to participate in the debate instead of watching the E! Channel, an apparent reference to Joel McHale's job as host of The Soup. Jeff initially tries to get the crowd into the debate by singing Evil Woman. During the debate, Jeff and Annie support their argument by citing Abu Ghraib and the Stanford prison experiment, while Simmons referenced Apu from The Simpsons. Jeff also quotes from the Bible during the debate, saying, "There is none righteous, no, not one." In its original airing, Debate 109 was seen by 5.09 million American viewers, earning a 3.25 among all households. It also scored a 2.1 in the 18 to 49 demographic. So down a little bit, but still doing pretty good. All right, moving right along to environmental science. It's the 10th episode of the first season of the American Comedy Community, aired in the United States on NBC on November the 19th, 2009. Dean Pelton announces that Greendale will have its annual environmentalism initiative, Green Week, culminating with a performance by Green Day. After a small infraction by Annie, Spanish teacher Ben Chang requires that the students write 20-page essays due the following Monday. The study group finds the assignment untimely. Shirley has a marketing presentation due, and Abed and Troy are conducting a biology lab experiment. The group asks Jeff to intervene with Chang to cancel the assignment. Pierce offers to help Shirley overcome her public speaking anxiety. She feels that his advice is strange and useless, such as using hand gestures and sexual innuendo to catch attention. Abed and Troy are trying to train a rat named Fievel to respond to their duet of Somewhere Out There.
Somewhere out there. Yes.
But during a test, the rat escapes. Troy, who was afraid of rats, is unable to help catch the rat, which enters the air ventilation system. Jeff learns that Chang is bitter over his wife throwing him out. Jeff takes pity on Chang and tries to help him move on, spending the night out drinking with him in exchange for not having to do the essay, unbeknownst to his study group. The next day, the rest of the study group is infuriated to learn that Jeff claims to have already completed the assignment, while Chang increases the importance of the essay on their course grade. The group catches Jeff talking to Chang about getting a good grade in exchange for spending more time with him, and insists that he fix the problem. Instead, he spends the next night with Chang, ridiculing the homework of other students. Chang breaks down into tears, missing his ex-wife. Jeff realizes he still loves her. The promised concert arrives, but Dean Pelton finds that the band is actually Green Day, an Irish folk music ensemble. As the band plays, Chang spots his wife in the crowd. Troy joins Abed as they sing Somewhere Out There to recover Fievel. Chang and his wife steal the spotlight dancing at the concert, and Shirley realizes the value of Pierce's advice and gives a successful presentation. After dancing, Chang announces that the essay assignment is canceled. Environmental Science was met with positive reviews from critics. It first aired on NBC on November 19th, 2009 to an audience of 4.86 million, so down some more.
Right.
And finally, The Politics of Human Sexuality. It's the 11th episode of the first season, originally aired in the United States on NBC on December the 3rd, 2009. Dean Pelton and Annie host an STD awareness fair at Greendale as Troy and Abed compete against each other to see who is the better athlete. Dean Pelton and Annie are promoting Greendale's upcoming STD fair, handing out fortune cookies and flyers. Troy is handed a flyer, but misses the trash can when throwing it away. Abed does the same, but makes the shot. Fearing Abed is better at sports, Troy challenges him to prove that he's the better athlete. Pierce asks Jeff to double date with him and his new girlfriend, Doreen, an escort to the fair later that night. Who takes a date to an STD fair?
To an STD fair. A professional at that, bro. You gonna take a pro to an STD fair? There's a joke here. There's a joke here. Don't eat the crab dip.
Pierce taunts Jeff that he can't get a date in time. Irritated, Jeff accepts his challenge. He calls a few women, asking them to accompany him on the date, but is brutally rebuffed. When Britta looks through his phone to finds no names, but descriptions such as hot blonde Spanish class as context, she suggests his shallow approach to dating is perhaps the reason why he can't find a date. Dean Pelton decides that Annie should conduct a condom demonstration on an anatomically correct model of a penis center stage at the fair. Annie panics, having never seen an actual penis in her life.
Not even Harvey Keitel.
Worried she'll mess up the demonstration, she asks Britta and Shirley for help. Annie admits to not being a virgin, but realizes with Britta and Shirley's help that her ex-boyfriend was gay.
He's gay now. I'm pretty sure he was gay then.
Annie suggests that they break into the dean's office to get the actual model to practice with. Britta and Shirley agree.
A reverse Porky's.
At the fair, Pierce tries to comfort Jeff, reassuring him that in his experience, dry spell with women only lasts 12 to 13 years. Jeff immediately turns his focus to Sabrina, the dean's shallow new assistant, and asks the dean for information about her. Annie, Shirley, and Britta try to break into the dean's office, but as they look at the model's penis through the keyhole, campus security walks in and detains the three. They are brought to Dean Pelton and the school counselor to discuss the incident. Annie accepts that she prefers being uncomfortable talking about sexuality.
Like, can we for the moment throw a shout out to the therapist in this situation? She's like, oh, hold up. I'd like to focus on the girl who wouldn't say penis. Like, why do we need to say penis? So yeah, Annie had her moment to stand up on her soapbox. Maybe if everybody else was a little less comfortable, we wouldn't need an STD fair.
Reminds me of King of the Hill. Ha penis.
Ha penis. But
everybody heard you.
Everybody. Even on Milton Street.
Yep. During the double date, Doreen tells Jeff that he could do a lot better than Sabrina, and that as men become older, they prefer conversational companionship over sex. Jeff leaves with Sabrina anyway. Doreen tells Pierce that if he wants to continue to hang out for the night, it will cost him $200.
Because let's point out, this man has 2 drinks in his hands, one for him, one for Doreen. He spills all of one drink, so now has an empty glass, and he hands that to Doreen. Like, come on, my guy. If you notice that you spilled all of one, hand her the full one. No, he handed her an empty glass.
Meanwhile, Abed easily beats Troy at basketball, a carnival game, and at arm wrestling. When the two race across campus, Abed lets Troy win. Back inside the fair, Dean Pelton observes that the alcohol served has caused many of the students to be highly sexually aroused.
Just makes me sleepy.
Again, you channeled the dean.
Thank you, sir.
When students decide to make water balloons, they discover holes from the text printed on the condoms. Panicking, the dean asks Troy to run to his office to make an announcement to not use the distributed condoms. Troy, however, bestows the responsibility to Abed, the faster of the two. Abed mistakenly warns students not to use condoms at all.
If you're going to have sex tonight, don't use condoms.
While having sex inside Jeff's car, Sabrina reveals that she thought he was a professor, and Jeff realizes he must be more mature in his romantic endeavors. Jeff ends things with Sabrina and returns to the fair to chat with Pierce. Jeff privately changes hot blonde Spanish class to Britta in his phone. In its original U.S. broadcast, it was viewed by 5.42 million people. So back up this week.
Okay, we're getting it back.
All right. So overall thoughts.
This cluster of episodes, and I've actually, Joey, I'm not lying to you. I've actually looked at these episodes and actually ranked my favorite clusters.
Okay.
So while this has a couple episodes that I liked, it's not my favorite cluster. It does still have, the debut of Some Worries, and I love that one. And then again, Troy Barnes with his political rhymes. I love those because I didn't even go into all of those. I just gave you the Bing Bong sing along. But yeah, it was some good. The last six are a strong six, so I'm definitely looking forward to chopping those up. Looking forward to getting into some more community, man. But these, again, we've got some very, very, very good writing distributed in so many different ways. Like the jokes, the way they hit, the way they land. Some of them are just outright funny, and then
Right.
others are boomerangs. So where it's like, here's the boomerang. You're looking at the boomerang in my hand, right? Then
Right.
it's a little joke, and I throw it. You see the little joke, and you don't think about it anymore. And then whoop, it's back, and here's the boomerang again. And now it's the joke a whole nother way. But it's just so funny the way they present it, man. So shouts out to Harmon and the gang.
I think that with the first 5 episodes, they were just kind of getting their footing, introducing everyone and all of that.
Right,
With this now, they're starting to cement everyone's kind of personality, like Abed with his movie making and
right.
his weirdness, and Jeff's materialism and womanizing, and Pierce being just insane, and all of that. And so I'm looking forward to the next group of episodes. I think, like you, that last cluster of episodes in the first season is the strongest, but
Facts.
it's like you got to walk before you can run, and this is them learning how to walk. So next time we start off, I believe, with the Christmas episode.
Which is a great one. To your point, though, you're talking about them getting their feet wet because you have such an ensemble cast. You got to give everybody some time. It's about like filming the Avengers without giving us those origin stories in the movies prior. I need to
Right.
know why I'm invested. So when you get into the episodes where Abed says, "All of my life, I always wanted to make a mafia movie," you it makes sense because of all the episodes that have led up to that point, and you understand how invested he is in television and how it narrates his life. So that episode makes so much sense, and I look forward to covering that one too. I think that's something poultry, but yeah, we're gonna get into that one, man. I'm looking forward to it.
And then also, like, you're starting to see they're starting to bring in the other characters, like the dean's personality is getting more fleshed out. We're introduced
Yes.
with Starburns, and which will lead to Leonard and Neil and Garrett and Magnitude.
Pop, pop. You knew I was waiting on you to say magnitude just so I can pop, pop.
So that's the next thing. When you're like with Nan, you're like, pop, pop, and she's gonna be so lost. And you're like, and we're back.
And we're back.
You gotta bite into it.
Bro. You can't say it half stepping.
Oh no.
If
No,
you're
no,
not
no, no,
if
no,
you're
no.
not fully committed, the audience doesn't know that you're back. They think they may think you're still on commercial break.
Right.
You got to come back with some stank.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
we're back.
You just you're like it'll scare you if you're not.
Your voice was so timid. It'll scare you though. You're not ready for it.
And I'm never ready for it.
You're never.
But at least I'm not like jumping out.
Big time facts. Thank you for staying in your seats, man. Thank you, fans, for listening, man. You know what I'm about to do. I'm pointing down at that subscribe and that share as well. I don't care if you copy the link. I don't care if you share it,
And just
via third party. Just share it with your people because if you're watching it, I'm pretty sure they like us as well. And once we hit that 50 followers, then we can go live. And you know what happens when we go live, folks. We fart for money.
people will come out of the woodwork to ask you to do strange things with your body.
Strange things.
But
And I,
again,
as a,
they did not put down a money figure.
how do we know that we weren't talking to somebody who was independently wealthy? They were ready to fund our entire slate, and all we had to do was do a little butt trumpet. That's it, a little, and then we were going to be set for life. And we're back.
And I'm fine with that, but I need to know exactly. Like, you don't have to just put it out to everybody. If you're like, hey, send me your email and I will email it to you, that's cool.
Whatever needs to happen, as long as you're not some fake Nigerian prince trying to get my account information, we're good to go. Just cut the check. And since I'm talking about cutting the check, go over to the Joey Harris Show wherever you get your podcast and listen to the most recent episode of the Joey Harris Show entitled "Cut the Check" with Nan and TJ.
And what did you all discuss on that show, TJ?
Oh, Joey, let me tell you something. First off, I got to give much love to our sponsors of that episode. One of which was Valvoline. Valvoline, now that's oil. So you gotta shout out to them. We had Macaroni as a sponsor, TJ's Hugs. I mean, like, so many of the sponsors came out of the woodworks. I didn't get to all of them. Vasectomies was going to sponsor that second half. We didn't even get to that one. You don't want to shoot, short, huh? Have a vasectomy. That was short. We cut it a little bit short, man. But no, so great times talking about movies that we'd like to see sequels on. We had a 6-pack of cold questions talking about beef Bavaria, straight out of protein.
Speaking of which, that was the only other comment that I had for you. We talked about one of them. I'm surprised neither one of you brought up the fact that they remade Strangers from a Train in the 80s, and they called it Throw Mama from the Train.
That was a remake of Strangers on a Train?
And they talk about it in the movie. That's the whole thing of it. Yeah.
Man, okay, so for the record, and hear me out now. Hear me out.
All right.
I saw Throw Mama from the Train the year after it came out. Yeah. I'm going to say it came out in 87.
Okay.
I was 4. Hadn't seen it since. I can't tell you the fine details of Throw Mama from the Train. I just knew that she was meant to be thrown. So I need to go back and watch that film again so that I can accurately give my love where it's due, because I did think that I was coming up with something brand new. I thought that my contemporary attempt at Strangers on a Train, I thought that was going to be some moving stuff, but you just told me Throw Mama from the Train, and I feel some kind of way.
It's in 1987.
87.
December 11th, 1987.
So if it came out in 87, I saw it in 88. I was 5.
The title comes from a Patti Page 1956 song, Mama from a Train, A Kiss, A Kiss. The film was inspired by the 1951 Alfred Hitchcock thriller Strangers on a Train, which is also seen in the film.
Yes, man, that's awesome. Shouts to Hitchcock and shouts out to Default, Hilarity by Default. I did not know that I would love that movie as much as I did. As old as it is, as dated as, I love that movie. That's a good movie. If you've never seen it, see it.
How many Hitchcock films did you sit in on? Was that the only one?
No. Strangers on a Train, Vertigo, North by Northwest. I think altogether I may have done like 6 or 7. Big fan of Hitchcock's work, man. I mean, you're talking about stuff that they're doing now that he, started back then. Storylines, motifs, things like that. When you're looking at Psycho, and how they took that and turned it into a really well done series with Bates Motel.
Right.
So yeah, big props to Hitchcock.
That's among my favorites. Vertigo is up there. Although if I were to name my top ones, Vertigo would probably be last on the list. I enjoy the film, but Rope is very good. I don't know if you've ever seen Rope.
I have. Rope I have not seen, but I've been in conversation with people about Rope. Strong movie.
Rear Window would probably be my
Rear
favorite.
Window, yes.
Would probably be my favorite.
Rear Window is a very nice, very very nice. But what other one? They're actually getting ready to redo either Vertigo or North by Northwest. It's one of those two that's getting ready to be redone with a name in that lead spot. So once I get more information on that one, I'll make sure to bring it up. Since I've teased it here, I'll make sure to follow up with you all because I know you all are hanging on my every report. That's why you subscribed. Oh, you haven't subscribed? Do it right now.
That's right. Absolutely. all the time with all the things.
All the time.
All the time. You see the banner on there. What's next? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because TJ and I are going back to the MCU and we're watching the movie that kicked off the MCU. We are watching Iron Man. So
I am Iron Man.
So if you're watching along with us, that's the next film that we're going to be watching there. But in the meantime and in the in-between time, TJ, go ahead and plug any and everything you got, my friend.
If you want to hear more of my voice, that can be heard on The Joey Harris Show. If you can't find an episode that I'm on, I encourage you to sign the petition. It is on Joey Harris's Facebook page to get more Big TJ on the Joey Harris Show. He ain't got to change the name to the Joey Harris Show with Big TJ. I'm not that bougie. I just want to be contractually guaranteed at least 12 spots a year. And you can make that happen, folks. Go to Joey Harris's Facebook page, sign the petition, call your congressman. We can come together with this being an election year, folks. If you want it, you can make it happen. This advertisement is approved by Big TJ. And we're back. Joey, man, thanks for having me, baby. Always.
You can get me on if it's a social media and I'm on it, mainly Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm at The Joey Harris. Also at The Joey Harris on Threads. If you're on Threads, I'm at The Joey Harris. That's kind of popping off lately and getting a little big.
Is it Threads?
Threads, yes. It's basically Facebook's and Meta's version of Twitter.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm on that new one. See, y'all know I don't do a lot of socials, but I'm on the Facebook, and then I'm on Bounce Back.
Okay. And what happens when you bounce back?
You better hope somebody's there to catch you. And we're back.
When did it go off the rails?
Joey, I'm sorry.
It was sometimes. It was sometimes there. Oh, goodness. Joey Harris Comedy at gmail.com. Big things coming up in the new year. That's all I'm going to say right now, but you will definitely hear more about it. I'm going to see if I can do it right as long as you hit subscribe over there. I did it right this time. Like I want to point at the thing right there, but people are like, that's not where it is. He's pointing the wrong way. It's in the corner.
It's in the corner over there.
No.
Isn't it under you?
No. Yeah. It's not under me. I'm looking at it. I'm on the left side. You're on the right. Is that how it is with you?
If I'm looking at it, yes, I'm on the right, which would mean the subscribe button would be right betwixt your legs. So I'm pointing down here.
It's below us. How about that? It's down there somewhere. There we go.
That's your reel right there. Us trying to decide where the freaking subscribe button is at.
I'll find it. There you go. I will find it. All right. But TJ, thank you so much. And we will talk to you all next time.